Hello, it's Miss Giacondi here from Year 3. We thought it would be useful for you to understand how we teach multiplication in Year 3, and it can help you to support your children who are currently in Year 3 and understand where they've come from in terms of how to multiply larger numbers. So let's move on to the first screen. So grid method is what they tend to do in Year 2, and we do it at the start of Year 3, and it's just a recap on how to start being able to multiply a 2-digit number with a 1-digit number. And what we do in this case is we partition, and what that means is we separate the bigger number 43 into its tens and its ones and place them onto the grid below. So I'm going to do that, and it will probably make a little bit more sense. So the 43 will be up the top here as 40, get my pen to work, 40 here, and the 3 goes here. So that's your 43. So we've got to include that 6, and we'll put that 6 over here. Okay, so we're still multiplying 43 times 6. And as always, we do start with the ones. So we look at multiplying 6 times 3. And as children get better with their multiplication and quicker as well, as you know, by the end of Year 4, they need to know all their times tables up to 12. Quick recall, so they need to be able to answer them quite quickly. So 6 times 3 is 18, so we'll put that in here. And then we do 6 times 40, and this allows the children to be able to break it down, so they can do 6 times 4 and then add that other 0 that they have there. So if we do 6 times 4, which is 24, and then we make sure that that 0 is added on. Okay, so we now have 240 and 18. So those two numbers need to be added together, which they can do separately. They don't have to do this in their head. So again, we start with the ones column on the far right. So 8 plus 0 is 8, 4 plus 1 is 5, and 2 on its own is 258. So that's how they can quite easily multiply 43 times 6 without it being too daunting. 258. Okay, so I'm going to move on now. So I'm going to show you how we would do sort of formal method long division. So I'm going to use the same calculation. So it's 43 times 6. So we set it up in what we call column multiplication. We do column addition, column subtraction, so they're quite used to setting out the calculation in this way. Okay, so again we start with the ones, and we're just going to put a little 1 there and the tens there. Draw some extra lines in, you'll see why in a minute. So we do the 6 times 3. Okay, so we start with the 1. So again, that's 18. Okay, and now we've got to do 6 times 4, except it isn't 4, it's 40. So the children have to understand that actually that 4 in the tens column means it's not a single number, it is 40. So I'm going to put a 0 here because we already know that that is the tens. We're not going to have a single unit or number in there. So now I can do 6 times 4, which is 24. Or I could have done 6 times 40, which would have been 240. And again, we add those up. So 8 plus 0 is 8, 5 plus 1 is 5, and then you've got your 2 on your own. Now, this method is actually really important. I'm going to show you in a moment an assessment question that we had last term, and it's a missing number question, and it is based on this type of calculation. So I'm going to show that to you and see if you can figure it out. So here we have missing number. Okay, so this is exactly the same question that the children had in their booklet as an assessment question. So they really need to know this method to be able to answer this one. So let's do it bit by bit. So we've got 6 times something gives us this 24 down here. Okay, so the children do need to know the inverse. So what they could do is 24 divided by 4, and what does that give them? So let's write that down, because that would be the inverse. Oops, let me rub that out. Okay, so how many 4s are in 24 will give us this answer at the top here. Okay, and some children might already know it off the top of their head. So we can do it 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 and 24. Okay, so that's 6. So we know what that missing number is now. Okay, so that's made a really good start. So just to recap, 4 multiplied by 6 gives us this 24 here. So then we need to do the second bit. So it's the 4 times the 2, which isn't a 2, it's a 20. So it's 4 times 20. Okay. If they want to do 4 times 2 to make it easier, they need to remember to put the 0 here. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. But if they knew 4 times 20, they'd know that that's 80. Okay. So we've got, this is really the hardest part. So now all they've got to do is add up what the 2 multiplication answers were. So we've done 4 times 6, 24, 4 times 2, 80. So now we're just adding them up. So 4 plus 0 is 4, 8 plus 2 is 10. And that just carries on there. But that is, as I said, really important, because those are the sort of questions that will come up. And it is really important for the children to know the relationship between division and multiplication, because that's going to help them not just in questions like this, but in all types of questions. We do lots of problem solving, reasoning questions where they will need to work out what maybe a missing number question is, and they'd need to do the inverse to find that out. So that's really, really important that they know the relationship between multiplication and division. I'm going to show you another method now. So some of the children who are very quick at multiplication sometimes prefer this, because it is by far the quickest method. And if they've got to work out something quickly, then this is a really good one to do. And it's very similar to how we would add up in terms of the column method, and also subtraction as well. Again, always starting on the right hand side with the ones. 6 times 3, which we've done plenty of times already today, is 18. But this time we drop the 1, or the 10 I should say, that goes down here. So it's 18. Okay, the 10 goes here, the 8 goes here. Then I can do 6 times 4, which we know is 24, plus this one here is 25. So that's a really quick and easy method, and it may be a method that you use as well. But when we take a step back, those were the methods that we do need to work on. Okay, I hope that helps. It was a whistle-stop tour of multiplication and how we have progressed from grid method all the way through to formal method. If you need any more assistance on this, please don't hesitate to send us an email or drop us a line, or catch us at the end of a school day. Okay, bye for now.